Hey guys, welcome to the Creativity Shell Beginning Sewing 101 Volume 2 project, How to Make a Pillow. In this project, you are going to learn how to make a simple square pillow, and by the time you are finished, you'll be able to use that skill to make pillows of all different shapes and sizes. If you have the Creativity Sews Volume 1 to 5 kit, you will have the materials and supplies needed to make this project. You will also have some stepping in there where you can make two simple square pillows. To begin, I'm going to use contrasting fabrics to make my pillows. You can make both sides the same, or you can do like I like to do and have contrasting fabrics to make my pillows extra unique. We're going to begin by having one of our fabrics with the right side facing up. We're going to place our second fabric right on top of the first fabric with the bright side facing down. If you have any wrinkles in your fabric, this is a really good time to iron those wrinkles out before you start sewing. And before we start sewing, let's mark ourselves some guidelines. I'm going to put two lines going upwards. This is going to be the opening of my pillow. And then I'm going to draw myself some guidelines, putting a little circle on each corner, as these will be my pivot points when I'm sewing. Then up. Remember, leave yourself about a good half of an inch for your seam allowance, and this will help ensure that both fabrics get sewn once you are ready to start sewing. Remember, this is my opening. I'm going to put a C here where I'm going to cut, and I'm going to put an S here where I'm going to start sewing. I would also recommend that you use a few straight pins to pin both of these fabrics together. This will help ensure that when you are sewing them, you are not going to be shifting them too much. You don't need to add too many pins, and you don't have to add them along the outside. You can just pin them to the interior. This way, when you're sewing, you can keep the fabrics together and you don't have to worry about taking out your pins at that time.
If you've just added a new bobbin to your sewing machine, this is one way how you feed your bobbin. You want to use your left hand to hold on to your sewing thread and take your right hand to turn your wheel, and it feeds your bobbin out. Before you start sewing, you should have two threads, your bobbin thread and your top thread, and you want to have them about 8 or so inches in length so that when the machine starts to feed in and out, up and down, it's not going to pull your top thread out. To begin sewing your pillow, you're going to start at the start point. This is going to be the opposite end from the opening that you have on the other side where we marked our C. We are going to gently do your 3 back stitches. Perfect. And then you're going to go straight ahead until you reach your first corner, which is going to be your first pivot point. Remember, to pivot, you leave your needle in your fabric, you lift your presser foot, you turn your fabric 90 degrees counterclockwise, and you lower your presser foot and you keep going. Also, this is not something that you have to rush. If you're beginning sewing, then go nice and slow. Try to work on your accuracy. Try to stick with your guideline, and just, using your hand, you can see how you can shift the fabric left to right if you start getting off of your guideline. Now we are at our second pivot point. If you have a sewing machine that your needle goes up when you stop, use your hand wheel to place that needle in the fabric, and then you can continue doing your pivot. You turn your fabric 90 degrees counterclockwise, and you lower your presser foot and continue sewing. And if I'm saying the word hand wheel and you do not know what the hand wheel is, on every single sewing machine, it is that circle wheel on the right side of the machine, and as you are sewing, it should be spinning on its own. Pivot, we press our foot down for a moment, needle in fabric, raise your presser foot, turn your fabric 90 degrees counterclockwise, lower your presser foot, and continue going. This is our last pivot point and our fourth and final corner. We're going to pivot and we are going to continue sewing, but we are not going to go all the way. We're going to stop right here where I marked my C, leaving this opening right here that we will use to turn this pillow over to the bright side. When you get to your cutting point, you are going to backstitch your 3 stitches. Perfect. You will cut your thread, raise your needle, and remove your fabric from the sewing machine.
Awesome. Let's make sure we take out these pins. We absolutely do not want to have any pins in our pillow. And let's use our scissors and trim away any excess fabric. For these corners, you'll notice that I cut it on a diagonal. We do this so that when we do have this turned over to the bright side, our corners are as nice and angled as possible. You'll also notice that I choose to leave our opening in the center of the sides as opposed to along the edge here. I personally like doing that so that mine's a really good squared out corner and it's not something that we hand stitch. And once you are finished, you will use that opening to turn this pillow over to your right side. You can use your fingers to poke out these edges as much as possible and pull them out so that your awesome sewing job can clearly be seen once this is together. Another great way to get your corners as squared out as possible is to use a poking tool to just poke these edges out. Once that's ready, you can go ahead and start adding some fiber fill to your pillow. You want to add enough, but you don't want to add too much because the more you add is the more difficulty that you will have when you are trying to close this pillow up.
When you are ready to close your pillow, Note, I placed these flaps inside so I would have some finished edges, and I put a straight pin on my opening just so I can hold my two sides together. You want to position your pillow under your presser foot. You want to go about maybe like 1/2 inch to 1 inch or so behind the start of your opening, just to make sure that you encase the entire opening. You lower your presser foot, get your needle in the fabric to help to secure it. You definitely want to start off by backstitching your 3 stitches, and then you want to sew this opening close. You want to go as close to the edge as you can, just so both of those flaps stay down. When your needle gets close to your pin, you would like to remove that pin using your fingers to hold the fabric and continue sewing. When you've passed the opening of your opening, once you've passed the start of your opening, you want to just sew a little bit past it, and then your 3 back stitches, and then you are all finished. You will raise your presser foot, get your needle out of the fabric, cut your threads, and remove this fabric from the sewing machine. Making pillows is so much fun and also very addictive. Once you have 2 pieces of fabrics, you can make them in a simple square, rectangle, circles. You can just do so much pillow making. So thank you guys so much for sewing with us, and we hope that you enjoy your pillows. If you are sewing some, please post it online or send us a picture. Tag it at Creativity Shell Beginning Sewing 101. We would absolutely love to see what you guys are all making.